Y'all know how we do this thing.
Follow the drip.
What's happening?
What's going on?
Too short.
Too tall.
In the building with
In
a
the flesh.
special guest today.
To my right, not the left.
Hey, right. Hey, man, welcome Matadi, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, now, I know you didn't achieve it a lot. 3-time Olympian.
3-time.
991
991.
in the 100.
Okay.
Liberian record holder in the 100 and the 60.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we got a lot of speed over here now. Whole bunch of speed.
Liberian boys in the building.
Most of it over there. It's a little bit over here. Most of it is over there. Most of it is over there, man. What's up, man?
Man, nothing chilling. You know, I've been begging to come on here, so
Bro,
Listen to him. Here we go.
begging.
There is no public documents
Show them the missed
on
calls.
any of this.
I probably called
man.
about 20 times.
No, he is not.
20 times.
Ben told him he could hop on the pod, man.
Hey, you here now, though?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Yeah.
Thank you
here
for having
now,
me.
man.
I appreciate it, man.
So, retired?
Yeah, well, everybody know now.
Oh, the cat's out the hat.
Not retired. Hey, so what we doing? What we doing,
The
man?
cat is at the hat.
It's out the yeah.
Hey.
What we doing?
I'm retired, man.
Are
I'm
you?
chilling now. Yeah. I mean, announcement.
Okay.
So, you know, I've been competing for maybe 12 years.
Wow.
I'm 34 years now. I just PB last year. You know, a lot of people was like, man, you retired, you just ran 991. You know, why aren't you coming back? But for me, it's always been about, like, being able to have the Liberia thing keep going, and then eventually have people coming in. You know, we got guys like Joe Fambale, we have Thelma Davis, Ebony Morrison, Destiny, a whole bunch of people coming up now.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I played my part, and you know, I'm going into a more leadership role on the back end and keep developing people, you know?
So when you say keep the Liberian thing going,
Yeah.
what does that mean, like tangibly? Like, what do you mean keep it going? You talk about the young talent that Liberia has right now in the track, you know, in the track realm, on the scene right now, but what does it mean to keep it going?
Man, it looks like always being represented at the, you know, global stages, man.
Okay.
I think for a long time it was just me competing, right? And everything you turn on, I just got known as, the Liberian guy, right? Because it was just only me. So to keep it going, meaning, you know, filling in that gap from the youngins to the elite, right?
Okay.
And that's kind of where I want to really spend my time in growing it, you know, especially for the country, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of opportunities in sports, but once you're able to understand, you can use athletics to you know, like how you guys are doing, right?
Yeah.
Like propel your life in a whole different dimension. I kind of want to be able to, you know, keep sharing them gems and make it happen like that.
Nice.
Now, you always been a track athlete? You play any other sports?
I mean, I did everything, man. I wrestled, played football a little bit. I did rugby. I had a little opportunity to do some WWE stuff. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, man. Like, I've been dabbling.
Look at him, though. Looking like an action figure.
Hey, boy, do it all. What?
So, yeah, been moving and grooving, man.
Hey, man. Hey, if y'all need any roles for any muscle, you know, if you need an athlete, gangster, or somebody, you know what I'm saying, we can get hood with it too. You know what I'm saying? Put a gold grill in that thing. Yeah. Got the gold chain on already. You know what I mean? Got the muscles.
Got the muscles.
You know?
Got the muscles.
Yeah. So WWE, man, that's what?
Yeah, bro. When was this? It was 2019. No, 2018. And man, I was just done running. I didn't want to run no more, right? So I'm like, man, what can I do? You know, I already tried the rugby thing. I'm like, they're not paying enough. So I'm like, dang, maybe I can do this WWE. You know, I've been watching wrestling since everybody did when we was little. So I'm like, shoot, I might as well try it. So I went, did the tryout, whatnot. But I'm not gonna lie, the only thing that made me not want to do it, at the tryouts, we doing the regular, it was 3 days. So you know, we lifting, we doing like the whole, like everything, the athletic thing.
Yeah.
So I get in the middle of the ring, they're like, do a flip. I'm like, a flip? Like,
you can't flip or
front flip?
Did you put that on the application that you could flip?
Bro, no, I just show them as I am. You know. So they're like, do a flip. So I'm like, they're like, just a front flip, land on your back. So boom, air get knocked out of me. I'm like, all right, this getting real.
What?
You say, if that's just me doing it by myself?
Bro, imagine somebody
doing it to you, right?
Yeah, so anyway, that happened. I'm like, all right, what if I can get over that? But then they had like guys who did like backyard wrestling there as well.
Yep.
So we got to sit in and watch the actual matches. And I'm thinking like everything is fake, right? But they get on that joint, they smacking each other's chest, like, white boys just turn red. I'm like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
this is real.
So there's a physicality part of it that you was like, oh.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, damn. And then I'm finding out more about it, and these guys are independent contractors, so they're not even giving you like medical, and so like CTE is real, and you breaking bones. The track made me a little soft, but I'm good.
Yeah. That's crazy. No, I ain't know that, man.
No,
so it was fake, but it was real.
Bro, like real, like fake real, if that makes sense. So,
man. So when you say you're taking a leadership role now with the Liberian, like, is it the Olympic organization? Like, tell me what that looks like and like what that role is.
Right. So obviously, track and field, I'm gonna still be a part of it, but now I founded our American football, so which is not only flag football but tackle as well, right? And my role involves introducing the sport to the country, right? And that looks like utilizing our guys in the league, right? Our Liberian guys in the league, getting equipment down to Liberia and having camps down there and really, making it a thing, because as you may or may not know, it's going to be in LA Olympics for flag football.
Yeah.
Right. NFL just announced that they're going to allow
the
players to compete, which is big, kind of like how NBA players do.
Yeah.
So, a lot of our guys were excited that's in the league for it as well. So, that's kind of what I'm doing. And I always wanted to spend my time on the continent and really do business on the continent, because Africa is a blank slate, not just Liberia, but the continent as a whole.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of opportunities to really, make some serious money, but not always about the financial part, but which is important, but also being able to give opportunities that we have here, like scholarships and things of that nature. Create a pathway.
So when you talk about the financial part and the economics, I mean, it is important. And so what does that look like for someone out there that wants to be a part of that, and that if there's someone out there that wants to contribute financially instead of, they might not have the time, but how can they contribute to that financially?
You call my phone, you write that check, I'm you. No,
okay.
No, but how it looks like is, obviously we got different ways, right? You can support the youth programs. You can support the elite team. I'm actually.
Elite teams like for flag or just football in general? Or?
Right now we focus on flag because it's easier to develop initially.
Okay.
Right? And then, further on we'll get into tackle and all that. But right now, the elite team, like the national team, will be heading to the Olympics. Also supporting leagues within Liberia, right? And it even gets bigger than that, because now, that we're having talks about expanding continent-wise, having, like leagues within the continent where like West African countries can play. So that's an avenue as well to being an investor and really have the opportunity to see your money not only grow and work for you, but like make an actual impact on people's lives.
Right.
Yeah.
So this would be something completely new to them. There's no leagues or nothing over there.
Nothing over there, nothing over there. So like I said, the door is open. There's an opportunity, and I always believe like I'm not Liberia, but Africa as a whole is, man, the opportunities are as crazy. I seen a clip like circling around, and it was a guy, like maybe a millionaire guy, and he was talking about how there's so much opportunity in Africa. If people want to become like billionaires or millionaires, they need to start looking at the continent to really putting that money into it. And us as being, black folks, I really do encourage like African Americans to really, not only, of course you're gonna do your business there in the States, but really look at like continent-wise Africa and be like, where can I really align myself? And I think you'll find opportunity where you'll be surprised how much money you make.
Yeah. No, that's encouraging, man. That's it's encouraging for me too, because I know we talked about kind of getting back over there, and you've been talking about going back. Going back to Liberia.
That's where I'm from.
And I told you we do a camp, man. Like I'm serious about that. So
I think that'll be live.
Now I heard you say earlier you was gonna quit track before you retired just now.
Yeah.
What was the reason for that?
Bro, there's no money in the sport, right? So there's no money in the sport. You out there, you killing yourself, right? And then like for me, the older I got, even though I was still running well, it becomes a thing like, oh, you're getting a little older, so the investment is a little bit more risky because, with age, you never know what you might get out of somebody the following year. Right? But and it's frustrating at times because, you know, you beating guys and like, dang, how is he getting the money? But you also got to realize on a business standpoint, they're in a whole different market than you as well, right?
Yeah.
So obviously me being an African guy, companies always say, oh, your market, which is Liberia, there's no money in that market, right?
Gotcha.
But I always say this, well, more so now than then, but you can't look at it from like a Liberia standpoint. You have to look at it from a continent standpoint, because let's say like a Nigeria goes and make the World Cup final. What happens is not only Nigerians is rooting for Nigerians, but whole of Africa rooting for that country.
You're right.
So it's no longer like, oh yeah, let's go Nigeria, it's let's go Africa, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the type of vision and type of like synergy that we have amongst each other.
Yeah.
That has to be pocketed and marketed, because once you do that, now a guy like me that's running well and whatnot, they start understanding like the continent supporting him.
Right,
and I can sell to the continent opposed to just that market, right? So that's the thing, and obviously, you know, like the U.S. guys, you know, they get paid and whatnot, but their market is super oversaturated, right? Mm-hmm. So it's extremely competitive to their, you know, to their point. But it's just hard, man. And you know, track is a lot of people running track.
Yeah.
But it's a small percentage that's running like fast.
Yeah.
Right. But the sad part is, when you're in that small percentage, it's still like it's hard. The money don't flow in that small circle still sometimes.
You know, what makes it really hard for me, like, you know, coming up on the football side of things, we just look at things differently. Hey, Booney. Okay, I'll get a cupcake. Thank you, Booney.
Yeah.
What makes it, what was interesting to me was like, it's really hard to sift through who's really pros
1,000%.
and who's not.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, for me, this is just what I saw and what I thought.
Yeah.
When I would see y'all run, like, you know, Shane, you, Phyllis, just everything that y'all have accomplished. And then I would see people on the track with y'all, and I'll be like,
he's slow as hell.
What is going on?
How are these two people in the same races, right?
Yeah, how are they together? How are you considered to, how are you in this meet practice? How are y'all side by side right now? Like that right there was hard for me, because I was like, that's not right. We have a legit professional over here, 991.
Yeah.
And then you have someone else that just hasn't accomplished, hasn't run as fast. It was really tough for me to like, man, like in track, like anybody can claim to legitimately be a pro. Like it was really weird for me in that sense. And then you can elaborate on this even more, but just more of my time training the last 5-6 years in this, you know, in the track and field world, just the way the money flows. I ain't never seen nothing like that. Money flowing to the agent and agents.
Spread it out.
Paying out the money. Like, it was confusing. Like, rather it's Adidas or Nike, whoever it is. I'm thinking like, they giving the contract to the agent, and then what it looked like to me was like the agent was deciding how and who to pay raise, who not to pay raise. It just looked weird. Like they were handling the salary cap in a sense for their team. Is that kind of how things were?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like track and field, like the Wild Wild West, I always say, right? Because everybody's situation is completely different. Because some situations
that's what's crazy.
You have, it's ridiculous.
There's no organization to it.
There's no organization, no like, I don't want
structure.
To say structure or you know, like the Players Association, that type of thing. So
y'all don't have a collective voice that can be heard.
Yeah, we don't, and that's the issue. But it's so many people too, right? So you have to like select who says what. But a lot of times, the selection process is gonna go to guys who are like top, right? Because it makes sense because y'all have to allow this voice. But like back to your point, it's the Wild Wild West because some agencies, they do have relationships with like the Nike, the Adidas, or whatnot. So they might have a budget where it's like, okay, go sign whoever you want to sign, and then you divvy it out, right? And then obviously, then some agencies is like, okay, I'm gonna get your money, but I'm gonna hold it and I'm gonna keep it to the end of the year, and then after we do the like the budgeting, I take my money out, then I'm gonna give you your money, right? And then also, then there's some agent, when your money comes, to give it to you, then you'll work it out like that, right? So it's everybody is so different, man.
It's tough.
So that's why it's so important to understand who you're working with and how you're working with. Because at the end of the day, you're the boss, right? And my biggest thing is people be allowing their coaches and their agents to be their bosses. It's not like the NFL and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Where
Right.
you can get the axe. You're the one out there. You run
That's
it.
running.
You can fire your agent tomorrow. You can fire your coach tomorrow, right? It's not like the league. You fire your coach, you have a team.
You ain't firing.
You can't-
It's impossible.
It's different.
It's impossible, right?
Yeah.
So it's that, and then even like to your other point of like guys who were not the same caliber in races together, right? Obviously, you got your local races where you be at colleges and whatnot.
Right.
Where you might hop in them races to just get
Practice, warm or whatever.
just like the rhythm, right? Just to get the rust buster, so to speak. And then now for the actual pro races, right? As we know, like the overseas ones, like the Diamond Leagues, the Grand Slam that's now, Athlos with the women, even like the gold meets, things like that. Is those, but it's also a small selection of people who are even able to get to those meets because there's only 8 lanes on the track, right?
Yeah.
And with them 8 lanes, usually it's gonna be more so the same people you might see running them races, right?
Yeah.
Again, when I go back to like, there's people that run fast and there's people that run like really fast, right? That circle gets smaller. But obviously this circle is gonna be the priority.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna go to like everybody else who might be running like 10-0s or whatever,
So tell me this.
Yeah.
Why is it on that level that we don't keep the same team model? I think if you started having team, now I don't know if y'all have done that in the past, but like high school track meets, college track meets, you go as a team. Got a couple guys that run 100, a couple, 200, you got your sprint relay.
Yeah.
It ain't necessarily about where you from,
Yeah.
but guys get drafted in a sense, form teams, you got one coach, like in a league. So like you could have different leagues, like the NFL has had the AFC and the NFC, and they came together to make the National Football League. It was 2 different leagues.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I just feel like the team model would be really interesting to me in track. I don't know how
it would work,
but the team model would be really interesting to me because then you would have a coach, a set coach or 2. You would have a strength coach for that team.
Mm-hmm.
You could then you could represent a city, you know what I'm saying, or whatnot, and then you can get money. You can build an identity. Yeah. To me, what the struggle is with track again is like, obviously in track, it's a lot of individuals. I always call y'all, the wolves.
Yeah, it is,
y'all lone wolves out there hunting, solo dolo. But like, if there was some kind of team element to it, you could create leagues, create some identity, create some storylines, because that's what really, to me, struggled in the past. Like, I know a couple guys that are lining up, but everybody out there got a story. Yeah. And if there was more storylines that people could relate to and follow, I feel like that would draw, obviously, more controversy. We'll be knowing about why such and such left this team, got traded, this head coach got fired, this coach came in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand.
Like D2 is now the relay coach. People don't really know that.
Not nobody knows.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like track world, maybe, but USA people.
Yeah.
Might know, but no, that's true. I want to say maybe like 3-4 years ago, they tried the league thing with cities.
Okay.
It just didn't work out. I don't know, maybe like a funding thing or whatnot, but it was you pick like certain people to be on each, New York, Austin, whatever, right? And you is a team system. So like, let's say you win a race, you get 10 points, I get third, I get 6 points, whatnot, right? But it's a point system for each team. And they was trying to do it, but it just didn't pan out.
High school.
But the thing is about that, it wasn't a thing where these people got to move and you're under one coach together. To do that would be difficult because it's so many people, right?
I know.
Yeah, I know. That's the difficult part. But in a sense, like, again, we go back to like right now, like the Grand Slam thing, right? Where they're trying to kind of make it into its own league. But you also have like issues with that because it's still a free for all in a sense, right? Like they have their people who are supposed to be there every meet.
Yeah. And
then you have the people who you bring in each meet, but each meet changes. You don't really know who's going to be in the race yet until maybe like the week of or whatnot.
So tell me, how is Grand Slam different than Diamond League, and you know I know what the Diamond League, but like how.
The biggest thing is the pay, obviously, right?
Okay.
You win is what, 100K?
First place, 100,000.
Yeah, but
is that for all races?
Yeah, it's all races, but it's it go by division. So you can be in the short sprint division, long sprint division, and like middle distance. I'm not too sure, but it's all running races, right?
Yeah.
So let's say again, I win the 100, and I get 10 points. You get second, but now let's say in the 200, you win the 200, and I get last place in the 200. You win that event. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how it works. So it's not just about winning a race. You gotta, if you win both races, obviously you got it. But it's where you fall within it. So that's how it works. I mean, I like it. You know, people are getting paid.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would personally change and wish that kind of like scaling back, it was 3 days long, right?
Oh, Grand Slam was 3 days long?
Yeah, 3 days long. So now they're doing it 2 days. Well, you know, in theory, it'd be great to be 1 day, but it's hard to do that when people are running two events. Yeah. Like you running 2 400s, it's gonna be a tough day for you know?
Okay.
So like, it make it hard to watch. Cause I try to watch it, like, obviously like a lot of my friends are running in it, right? So I try to watch and support it, but it's a difficult watch, you know, just to be honest, you know?
Yeah, because it's so long and you are...
And this is a track guy, like I enjoy watching it. And so I can only imagine for somebody who's not even like familiar with the sport to like tune in. And then they have a betting aspect to it, like betting. But the thing is, I'm watching it, I'm like, yo, I didn't even hear about the betting thing. Like, obviously I know about it because I'm involved in the sport, but it's just how information is being released sometimes. It make it difficult for people to follow along.
Again, it's just...
It's a
so
lot of
spread, man. There's no central...
Yeah, it's tough. And then even like the selection, and I hate to be just picking out the negatives, but even like the selection of venues, right? Like this weekend is going, or next weekend is going to be in Philly or Penn State. They got where Penn Relays is.
Yeah, okay.
Huge stadium, right? It's difficult to fill that stadium up.
Yeah.
You know, just reality of it. It's track. Track doesn't do well in the U.S., you know? So it's stuff like that you got to think about, just viewership-wise and marketing-wise, because if I'm putting money into something, I'm looking like, yo, nobody's even here. Why would I put my money into it?
So tell me this. Tell me this, because I know that, and which is one of the reasons why, man, I really hate that I missed out on going to Doha.
Yeah.
With y'all, but like, why is it so different overseas?
I was about to ask.
With track. Like, is it just the competition here with the other sports? I mean, is that what it is? Or like track? I feel like y'all like other places, people know who you are. It's like a bigger deal for, you know what I'm saying, like overseas.
I mean, that's like it's almost like soccer.
No, true. Almost, but obviously, you know, soccer.
Yeah.
But no, that's a good point. It's the competition with the sport. You gotta look at, again, it goes back to the marketing, right? Look what they're marketing, you know, football, basketball, baseball, you know, all the top sports, right? ML, anyways. So it goes back to the marketing, and then it also goes back to what we're talking about, like nobody knows who's pro, right? So it's never been like an established thing where it's like, okay, these are the guys. Back in the day, it was more like popular with like, you know, the Carl Lewises, things like that. But I think it got tainted really bad with, you know, the drugging and whatnot. So
the one race?
They used to have like $1 million races back then, right?
What?
Yeah.
Have we seen that?
With Michael Johnson and Donovan Bailey.
Bailey was one of my favorite sprints growing up, man.
Bro, so like they used to have like $1 million, bro. And the thing is, it never used to be just like Nike, Adidas, New Balance. It used to be companies like Tyson Chicken,
everybody
Foot Locker
involved.
sponsoring, BMW. So it used to be like a wide range of sponsors, but obviously like with the scandals and all that other stuff going on, everything got so condensed. Now you're in a situation where the main core companies, they have control over everything. So when there's no competition, what happens? You can control the pay, you can, you know, all that other stuff. And kind of to scale back to like the Diamond League and Grand Slam, obviously Grand Slam paying a lot. You know, Diamond League after COVID, they cut their money down. Yeah. But there was no competition. So nobody can really be like, oh,
push them to get it back.
Like, where you gonna go to run? Or like money, you know? So what happened is obviously you see like, not just Grand Slam, but like Aflos, the women's meet. Like they start putting more money up. So once Grand Slam announced their pay, what Diamond League do?
They
up their pay. So it's like you have the ability to do it.
Competition.
Yeah.
Competition.
So you need competition to be able to move that needle, you know? And that's always been our issue, at least here in the US. But back to like internationally, it's so popular over there because I think they don't have American football. Like basketball has just become like more familiar in like Europe and all the other places too, right? So I think that's the biggest thing. And then I don't know, like overseas, bro, just different. They respect sports differently.
Yeah.
U.S. is a money grab. You know? Yeah. So
man, I feel like in track, you got to be a character along with.
Yeah, along with performing. But
like the personality aspect, you need.
Yeah, but the thing is, I guess I can speak for I'm gonna speak for World Athletics too in the U.S. But World Athletics, what happens is you get those people who are doing well. Like you get your Noah Lyles, you get your like your Gabby Thomases, your Carries, you know, like whoever else. Mm-hmm. But so you get an opportunity where these people are doing well, right? And now you're like, oh, we're gonna push them, which you should, because these are the people who are performing. Yeah. But what happens is, what you said with storylines, you can only tell one story, right? To make it make sense, you have to be able to tell everybody's story and make it like, oh shit, this is a build up to a climax, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
To make something amazing happen, right? Yes. So I think sometimes to drop the ball, I should say, on doing so. And you, of course, you can't tell 100 people's stories, but
we can tell 24.
Yeah. So like for example, bro,
not just 3.
Yeah. So for example, this past Olympics, I was top 10 going to the Olympic Games, right? I was top 10 going to the Olympic Games for the 100 meters. Yeah. And within them top people that was on that list, the stories that I told, Noah's,
and Curly,
Fred. But even with Fred, bro, like. They don't even like Mark, bro.
Well, you know, that. Fred is back and sitting back.
Yeah, but still though, bro. Like to make somebody popular, you have to. The brands have to push them.
You gotta push.
You know what I'm saying? And but that's the only way, bro. Because at the end of the day, we're just individuals. Yeah, we're training and whatnot. Because how do you make somebody famous? You push them in the media.
Right.
Yeah.
You create the narrative.
It's common sense. You know, you write the narrative for them. Mm-hmm. And like I think Fred got a good personality when it comes to like how he operates and how he like carry himself, where it's like, I'm here, I'm a dog, I'm here to, you know, and people like that, bro, right? And obviously, you know, Noah, he's like silly, he like to have a good time, whatnot, right? So, and some people like that as well, right? But now you gotta, because it's an international sport, right? So now World Athletics, their duty is to tell the stories of guys like the South African guy, Akane Sabini.
Yes.
He's been running 9 seconds forever, bro. He's been running fast. He always make the finals. Why do you not like push a guy like that?
Yes.
Right? So it's something where it doesn't make sense. And South Africa, they have a good market. You know, they have a market where people would buy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, bro. It just doesn't make sense a lot of times.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. So
it's always been it's interesting. When I started, obviously, you know, when I started training with the group.
Yeah.
And just seeing financially what the winnings were for some of the races, and then
you thought it was different.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up playing the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bailey was one of my.
But they would make money though. Them jokers make money. Yeah.
But like, when I you know, would have an athlete that could possibly be in the hole.
Yeah.
If they didn't win.
Yeah.
Wow. Just insane to me.
No, it is insane.
Because having to travel to Europe to run and then could possibly be in the hole.
Yeah.
It's just
crazy.
How could you?
It ain't adding up.
No,
bro. No, it doesn't add up. But
and it's hard to win. And one, you know, I was talking to one of the athletes on the professional scene was like, man, it's hard to be an underdog in this sport.
Yeah, it is.
When you don't have the resources financially to do all the things you really need to do with your body. For recovery and treatment and strength it's a lot. Nutrition, like it's hard to win as an underdog because when we play ball, if I miss the tackle, Eric coming through, boom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
You come out the blocks. It's not right. By that third step, you know.
Yeah, them jokers, you know, you get little. You know, when I go no woods, be like, damn, that joke got little on you. You know, when you don't get little?
Yeah.
Like, damn, boy, he got little on you.
I ain't never heard nobody say that.
No, real shit, though. Like, damn, boy, he got little on you.
That took off.
Yeah, like, damn, boy, he got little on you. So, like, you look up, you like, damn.
Yeah.
That's a dot. Joker turned into a dot.
That's
straight up. So, you know, things like that is unfortunate. But, you know, also, like, obviously we pointing out like the pain points, right? But also like our duty as athletes is to put ourselves in situations where we become more marketable, right? We start doing, especially like socials nowadays. You start putting out the content yourself. You start making yourself more appealing to brands.
Yeah.
And you really got to, like push your stuff. Even like, I came here and did like the Timberland stuff, right? Things like that, bro. You have to start, especially if somebody's not giving you nothing, and y'all know y'all hustling, right? So when somebody's not giving you nothing, what you got to do, you got to strap them boots up and go out there and hustle, man.
Get out that box.
Yeah, so that's why I always preach, like, at a certain time, you got to stop also being like, damn, they're not giving me nothing.
Right.
And be like, shit, I got to go get it myself.
Right.
I
mean, that make a lot of sense because you think about the teams for college or pro.
Yeah.
What do? They're going to have certain players that they want to push out into the media. They're going to have certain players that they present for the commercials. They're going to have certain jerseys, out that they're trying to sell.
When the draft comes, they're going to push the narrative.
Yeah, right. They got the stories going. They already lined up. The storylines are always happening. There's always storylines.
Yeah.
And so, now I just came to this realization myself probably within the last year, just thinking about marketing and all that, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about the NFL. And I was like, so you know what really happened? Let's say you got these, ESPN or these networks, right?
Yeah.
If I'm the NFL, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hire you full time to push everything we doing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Every single team is going to have somebody that's going to have someone specifically get information, leaking information, talk, hey, man, I got the inside scoop, all of this stuff. I need to hire somebody to where it looks like they're doing it on their own, but I'm hiring them and giving them access to tell the storylines. And that's what happens. Yeah. I used to think about it so differently when it came to the marketing, and obviously, you smart asses out there, y'all got it all figured out. I'm just now figuring it out. But, you really separate. I really had them separated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As far as the teams and the networks and all of that. But I really believe, initially, that's what it's all about. Is you haven't put that money up to, hey, y'all telling this story, but we ain't really associated. We're separate. When you come, we argue, we get into it, and I don't want to answer these questions. No, and I'm sure that happened over time, but you're really working together. You know what I'm saying? So it's what can track do, man, to really, it seems like the money that's made, wherever the money is made, is just not being used in a sense for the marketing. You know what I'm saying? To push,
elevate the game.
To have a network
here in the U.S. where we can watch
to have a network.
Races.
Because even when we was at the World Championships in Oregon, it might have been your semifinal race. After Shane, I had went back to the room and I was trying to watch your race.
Couldn't find it.
And it changed channels.
Oh, yeah.
They went to another channel, bro.
Yeah.
I was hot. Yeah. It was like they switched from the Hunter, and it was like, no knock, but it was like discus or something. And I was like, bro, what's going on? Like, what was it? And it was on Peacock, I think. We was trying to, but it just seems, it's hard to know when the races are.
Yeah.
What channels is coming on.
No, I agree, man. I do agree. Also, like every time track is on TV, we don't do the most numbers on the television either, right? But that goes to your point of not it being like marketed the right way. And again, I'm gonna go back to Grand Slam because the most recent thing happened.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job marketing it and like putting it out there, but also when you do it, you have to have the right type of skill. Like 3 days is ridiculous to me. Like I'm not gonna sit on and watch something for 3 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just to the point, your point is how it's getting marketed and pushed out. Yeah.
So tell me, back when, I don't know, was it Bailey and Michael Johnson had that 200, that million?
The one, yeah, I think it was 150.
Oh, 150?
Yeah.
And it sold out.
Sold out, bro.
Madison Square? No, it wasn't Madison Square.
It was in New York?
It was in New York. I think it was in New York.
Was it Madison Square Garden?
I'm not sure the venue.
It couldn't have been Madison Square Garden.
I'm not sure, but it was in New York. I think it was in New York. But the thing is,
it was a 150. It was a 150.
Yeah, 150. But them guys was like superstars. We don't got a lot of superstars in track and field anymore.
Michael Johnson.
But why?
Because.
But what can we?
But look, who makes, like how we saying, who makes superstars? the media makes superstars, right? And the thing is, the brand, whoever you're associated, that makes you a superstar. Like, it's just what it is. I know nowadays a lot of like the top track athletes, they're getting people who are not only doing like, you know, you got your track agent, but they're also doing like your brand marketing as well. Right. I know, for example, like a Gabby, she's been everywhere lately. She's been doing a lot of cool stuff. And like Noah does some cool things, and I know that helps her a lot. You know, like the Met Gala. She got different type of deals now, right? Deals that are not like usually associated with the sport.
Right.
Yeah. So things like that, you got to start looking outside the traditional way to get shit moving. Yeah. And I mean, she's becoming a star in her own right. Yeah. You know. So things like that. But then you look at guys who were doing well that should have been stars, like Gatlin, you know, like Justin Gatlin. Gatlin, like people know Gatlin, of course, but like Gatlin should have been like a mega star in the U.S. You know, like
facts.
You know, and Gatlin a cool guy, and you know, I think he's marketable.
One of the most consistent. Would you say over that long span of time that he ran?
But like someone like Gatlin should have been, you know, for the U.S. on like a boat. Skill, you know, obviously, you know, boat.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because he was the direct competitor to boat.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so things like that, and because people get lost, like Tyson Gay, people don't even think about Tyson anymore. Yeah, you know, and he was like a great athlete. Yeah, you know, yeah. So there's so many, even like a Maurice Green, like he was a star back then, but people don't even think about these people no more.
Man.
But you know,
Maurice and Bailey was my two favorites.
But when you think about like the NFL and NBA guys, like them guys are legendary. You know, like people
they live on forever.
They're always gonna talk about Michael Jordan. You know, like I don't know. It's just things like that. Even like Scottie Pippen, people always want to talk about Scottie. You know,
right.
Bill Russell, you know, like these are old school guys, and they held it down.
Do you feel like they headed in the right direction though? Track and field.
I think so. I think it's getting a little better. Like the funding is there because you know the funding always the main thing, but you know, it's the first year for a lot of things. So there's always gonna be hiccups. So is it getting a little better?
Changing the 3-day down to 2-day now?
Yeah. Okay. So there's always good points. And then also like the media around track. There's a lot of guys doing podcasts now. Like that just track and field media, you know? So that's good. I know Gatlin, you know, he getting that space as well. There's other people as well. But
all right, I'm gonna switch gears for a little bit.
Yeah, come on.
Get y'all opinion off the track and field, but on something else.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese.
Yeah, I seen that.
Do you think? Why are you looking like that?
I just want to know.
What do you really think about that relationship? It's layered.
Yeah.
Do you think there's real hate between the two, or is it one-sided?
Yeah.
Do you think that there's some, not Caitlin, but there's some real, true racism from Caitlin's fans toward Angel?
Yeah.
And do you think Angel is a little excessive?
It might be a good mix of everything.
Right. It might be.
But like to the core, do I think it's hate between them? No, there are people who are competitors, and you know how sports are. You get in that battle and you fire it up. You know, you're ready to go. So at the end of the day, do I think they hate each other? No. Do I think like the fans?
So you don't think Angel really hate Caitlin?
Nah,
okay.
Bro.
I don't either, but
I think, not saying that they just buddy, but it ain't no real beef. If we somewhere, we gonna keep it cordial. But on the court, in between the lines, I don't know.
I don't think Angel's speaking to Caitlin off the court.
Probably not.
No, that's what I'm saying. Not like that, but it ain't. F that was.
Nah. But you know, the thing is like, and I hate to do this good guy, bad guy thing, right? Or good woman, bad woman. But like, as we know with storylines, they gotta be a bad person.
Here we go.
That's all it is.
And here we go. And that's what I kind of want to get into.
That's all it is.
So as much as, like they took it back to the Larry Bird, you know,
Magic.
Yes. Yeah. And so anytime there's race, there's gonna be some polarization.
Of course.
Right? So this is going from college, now it's in the pro. Now the WNBA is trying to capitalize on this rivalry.
Capitalize.
I don't see a problem with the way they're trying to capitalize on the rivalry, but there's gonna be baggage.
Yeah, of course.
And the baggage I've seen some baggage where you have some of the Caitlin Clark's fans wearing crazy hair and long nails, like this excessive, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stuff
Those are the folks that's gonna take it too far.
Which we know you.
But what?
Yes.
In Indiana, right?
Yes.
What you know about Indiana?
Big whatever.
What you know about Indiana? You know, you know where the KK started at?
That's where it is.
Huh?
That's where they started.
Indiana. Oh, I know they had their headquarters in Indiana, right? I'm not saying that. I'm not taking it there. I'm not.
We gotta be back. We gotta be back
all the way in it.
But
we gotta record next week.
We in it now.
But I will say this, and I'm not saying it's a racial thing, but I will say this. If you are a diehard Indiana fan and you've been living there for a long time, I'm a 90-year-old man.
Listen to him.
And I see this white woman killing these black kids. I'm gonna say
you gonna feel what?
I'm saying that. Nah, but on the real though. I think, like, to your point, I think it's a mix. Like, you can't control the fans though, right? On a serious note. You can't control the fans. You know, as good as these women are, right? There's gonna be hate for people everywhere, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's black folks that hate white people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So either or, but you can't control it. So they're gonna do their thing, and it's not appropriate, but it shouldn't be made as the majority of
and I don't think it's the majority.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the majority, but it's like I see that and I know like we talk about the storylines. Like people are tuning in.
Yeah.
Because the storylines are there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not mad at that. But I don't know. I heard someone was like, you seen Ryan Clark and RG3 been going at it. You know, they didn't win all. They didn't got personal because it had been personal before.
Yeah.
You know, it became personal on that topic because they already had a personal issue in the past. But people were like, you should just speak on sports again. Here we go again.
Yeah.
Sports and culture will never be separated.
Yeah, never.
They will never be separated.
Yeah,
you can't take sports and politics, all of it will always find a way to blend because in sport, it's a blend of backgrounds.
Everything.
Yes, and we all are coming together. And that's why politically, culturally, you cannot.
You can't get away from it.
You can't.
You can't. No, that's true. That's true. Because
it,
as you know, like what they say, like athletes want to be rappers and rappers want to be athletes, right?
Yeah.
Same concept, right?
And back and forth.
And as you know, you put the music thing in it and it's a show, right? So like it's sports entertainment, right? So like as your point, culture is always going to be involved in it. And as we know, like black culture drives a lot of athletics, right? So, the thing about like Ryan Clark and RG3, it's unfortunate now. These two brothers kind of, going against each other. But like you say, it can't be separated.
It can't be, man. It just can't.
It can't be separated.
It can't.
So,
it can't.
It's interesting.
Yeah. But man, hey, are you gonna come back?
Man, I'm trying to be a regular, man. But the gatekeeping, man.
Don't let them fool y'all, man.
I've been knocking on the door. They don't want to open the door.
Y'all heard how busy
he knocking on the door when the door is unlocked.
Y'all heard how busy he is.
What you knocking for?
I had to kick the door down just to get in here.
Y'all heard how busy he is.
I wish they could turn the camera.
The president of the Liberian Federation.
They got chains on the door.
All right, now this ain't lean on me.
Hey.
Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark.
Hey, man, appreciate having you on, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Hey, more than welcome to be a regular, man. We love to have you on.
I'm trying, man.
Let's do it.
We can talk about recent news, all type of shit.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let them know where they can find you at, though.
Man, Matadi on I only got Instagram, really. So, Matadi. I'm trying to make a TikTok. Cause I heard people getting paid on the TikTok, so I might make a TikTok. Just Matadi. Matadi. Hit me on my Insta.
Yes, sir.
Bet. We'll plug him in, man. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Y'all know where we be. All right.
What will you sacrifice to be great?